Hello, everybody. I'm Skilty Labastilla of the Society of Filipino Film Reviewers. Welcome to the Roundtable discussion with new filmmakers, our nominees for Best First Feature of 2021 in the second Pinoy Rebyu Awards. We have with us Patrick Alcedo, who directed A Will to Dream, Miss May Paner, who directed Tao Po, and Carlo Francisco Manatad, who directed Kung Maupay Man it Panahon. So this will really be chikahan, kwentuhan about the stories of your of the process that you went through in making your films, as well as your filmmaking career so far. Obviously, you're new filmmaker, so to speak, in the feature length category, but you've been making film work even before you made the films that have been nominated this year. So simulan po natin siguro sa background ninyo. No? I've read some of your previous interviews, pero gusto ko lang din malaman ng mga viewers natin today. No? Paano nahulma yung pagiging filmmaker ninyo? Siguro, I think pinakaunang gumawa ng pelikula sa atin, no, not necessarily directing, but appearing in films, si Miss May. And I've read, Miss May, that about your background in theater, and your childhood as a very creative child. Can you tell us more about where you grew up, tapos paano nahubog yung pagiging malikhain ninyo?
Well, actually, batang Cubao ako, no? Nung araw yung Highway 54, yung bahay kasi namin nasa kanto ng EDSA at Aurora Boulevard.
Oh, wow.
No? So, bago nagkaroon ng mga mga flyover, mga ganyan, diyan ako lumaki. So, batang Cubao. Anyway, ang aking pagiging malikhain actually, I think really started. Of course, yung elementary, yung ikaw nagdidirect, mahilig ka sumali sa mga oratorical contest. But I think yung medyo klaro sa akin na umpisa ko is PETA. When I joined the theater in 1983, tao ka na ba noon? Ano?
Ako na ako noon. Si Carlo hindi pa.
Carlo hindi pa. Anyway, noon sa PETA in 1983, doon ako nahubog sa political theater. And so naging laman ako ng mga plays na even then sumusuri sa lipunan, no? Because PETA na nga. So nandun ako din sa kalsada. Pero after that, I went to advertising. So doon naman ako naging very commercial. So I directed a lot of television commercials. Right. So yung kombinasyon na yon sa akin ng political theater ng PETA and then that very commercial background, I rose from the ranks. I was a production assistant, production manager, assistant director, until partner nung nandun ako sa advertising. So and that was like a whole 83 ako sa PETA, 84 nag-advertising na ako. So for about 3 decades, until hindi ko na nakayanan ng advertising, isinusuka na siya ng sistema ko. And ayaw na talaga. Kasi sa advertising mo, sinasabi mo, kailangan pag maganda ka, maputi ka, long straight black hair, payat, matangos ang ilong, matangkad. Lahat yun opposite ng itsura ko. So sabi ko, ibig ba sabihin, pangit ako. Hindi ko na siya kinaya. Okay. Because, yun naman ang baging critical sa pag-iisip. So, I said hindi na talaga magkasya yung aking sarili sa advertising. But of course, that is where I had the life. Natuto akong kumain ng mga sushi, sashimi. I mean, and I was, yung state-of-the-art equipment, I had access to all kinds of mga magagarang ilaw, camera. Diba, that was the life. And I earned a lot during those times. But I guess in my journey as an artist, and in my whole soul work, parang kinailangan ko lang siyang daanan, pero lumagpas na ako doon. And I guess that brings me to where I am now, where I guess yun yung pinagsamang lives ko nasa Tao Po, which is the feature na documentary na kung ano ba man siya. Pinagtatalunan sa isang masterclass baby Ruth kung anong tawag doon sa ginawa ko. Kasi parang Kasi play siya na naging film, na
Right.
naging parang documentary kasi nandun na si Rafi Lerma. But at the same time, it was cinema so alive kasi parang up to now, not only is the film story of EJK going on, but my relationship with the characters in the film is very much alive. So
Yeah,
I think yun yung kakaibahan nung tao po experience ko.
Right,
So
right.
I guess yun yung roots ko in
Thanks, Miss May. Actually, you mentioned, no, kami rin mismo sa society, merong konting debate no, when we view the film. Ano ba ito? Cinema ba ito? Or is this film theater? So may very vibrant discussion, and then eventually we nanaig yung mga members na nagsabi this is cinema. That's why it's been nominated in several categories. Pero balikan natin yan mamaya, no, yung film mismo. By the way, I'm joined by my colleague in the society, Nico Quijano, who can also ask questions. No, later he will
Hi,
co-facilitate.
Nico.
Hi, Nico.
Hi, Sir Nico.
Ang cute mo, Nico.
Magandang hapon po.
Yeah. He's also a theater fan. So.
Oh,
yeah.
are you?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Actually, I saw the initial tao po in CCTV.
Oh,
Black
did
Box.
you?
Yes
Thank
po.
you.
Yes po. I when it was first shown and then when it was redone, there was a rerun. I saw both runs po.
Yeah. Thanks, Nico. Sige, puntahan natin si Patrick. I know Patrick grew up in Aklan. Can you tell us a bit about your childhood, Patrick? How did your sort of environment contribute to your creativity?
Oo, so maliit pa ako sumasayaw na ako. I'm a dance anthropologist, I'm a dance scholar. So yung engagement ko sa sayaw really started in Aklan kasi nga we're known for ati-atihan. And so yung pagsasayaw ko talagang nasa akin na. My mother's a piano teacher, yung late sister ko was a beautiful folk dancer. So maliit pa ako sumasayaw na talaga ako sa entablado. And then when I went to Manila sa UP Diliman, I joined the UP Filipiniana dance group. So that's where I really started becoming I could say siguro professional training talaga kasi nga nag-represent kami ng bansa sa abroad, pumunta ako ng Europe for the first time, nag-represent ng bansa. So nakita ko yung possibility ng sayaw as really a cultural diplomatic tool. So na-realize ko na ang sayaw pala hindi lang entertainment, that it could really be something else, no? Outside the usual thinking na it's for entertainment, it's light. Pero sa tingin ko talagang mas madami pang magagawa ng sayaw. And I think that really was shaped when I went abroad and represented the country. Tapos I was very lucky kasi nga I got modesty aside, I got a scholarship to pursue my PhD in California through the Asian Cultural Council. I did my PhD in dance history and theory. So doon talaga ako na-shape as a scholar kasi doon ko talaga natutunan yung dance ethnography or dance anthropology. So I became a very serious dance scholar kasi English ako sa UP tapos sumasayaw. So talagang parang nag-click talaga siya kasi nga academic tapos art. So I fell in love with anthropology. I fell in love with doing research on the ground. And I've always been kasi ang pamilya kasi namin yumaman, humihirap, naging mayaman. Alam mo yon yung class, yung naging sensitive ako sa class kasi I experienced growing up na may kaya tapos nawala yung business namin kasi nga nagka-problema sa ekonomiya natin. So parang nakita ko yung push and pull ng economy natin and siguro ng bad governance. Not really bad but bad governance na nakakaapekto sa lahat, no? And so naging product ako niyan. So sabi ko baka pwede kong idikit yung sayaw sa social issues. And nakita ko yon nung nandun ako sa California. Kasi I was there for a very long time. I went to sa States 1996. Umalis na ako 2007 kasi natuwa nga ako. Nag-aaral ako tapos nag-postdoc ako. Gusto ko talagang i-shape yung sarili ko. And that's where I started doing because kasi 'di ba very close yung anthropology and documentary film.
Right.
So sabi ko this is a very very natural organic development of my textual work na gawin kong film kasi nga if I'm going to engage the community, napakaganda talaga ng film. Kasi nga, 'di ba, pag nagsusulat ka kasi ng Ingles, let's accept it, very limited din yung audience mo eh.
Yes.
Pero pag film talaga, napaka-democratizing talaga ng film. So sabi ko talagang ito talaga ang ipo-pursue ko. So that's it. And then just to ano lang in a nutshell and bago ako pumunta maging professor dito sa Toronto, dumaan din ako ng Smithsonian. So doon ko din nakita ko din yung another level ng ng arts, no, na talagang ang lakas talaga ng possibility na pwede talaga siyang maging global, universal. And of course dito sa York University, na I've been here since 2007, talagang ang medyo fortunate ako kasi mga grants, ang ganda kasi ng arts dito sa Toronto. So talagang napaka-conducive for the kind of work that I'm doing. So parang in a way, I don't want parang parang swerte ko talaga, parang nag-align yung universe sa akin. Parang siguro parang katulad ni May na parang sabi mo nga May, ang gustong-gusto ko na parang napagdaanan ko din. I think it's all about a journey. But you also, I mean, because I'm a dancer, you also choreograph your own journey. You make certain decisions. And then yun nga, yung talaga yung gusto ko talagang gawin is to democratize my work and to make my work may significance talaga siya.
Thanks.
But for the point of view of dance.
Thanks for that really nice story, Patrick. Si Carlo naman, you were born in Tacloban. You grew up in Tacloban as well. Pwedeng pakikwento, Carlo, paano nahubog ng childhood mo, ng Tacloban, yung pagiging malikain mo?
Ako kasi sobrang ang dami ng experience ni Sir May at ni Sir Patrick. Hindi ko alam kung worth it ikwento yung sa akin. But, well, in terms of parang yung inclined towards the arts, I think nakuha ko sa dad ko, mainly because during when I was very young till high school, mahilig siya manood ng films. So there were times na every time may meetings in Manila, pupunta siya dito, babalik siya with parang malaking maleta na may mga peking DVD. So may mga ganong times talaga. Tapos parang also I could remember when I was younger, I would watch films with him kahit di ko naiintindihan. As in, nakatingin lang ako. Tapos parang palaging usapin sa amin na parang paano ba ito ginawa? Tapos parang, ayun, I think also dahil mas inclined siya to watching all these different cinemas around the world. Parang pinaka-tumatak din sa akin, third year high school, nakakuha kami ng second-hand video camera. Tapos parang binigay niya sa akin. And then nagsushoot lang kami na magpipinsan namin. Like, shoot edit. Di ko alam yung concept of filmmaking. Ginagaya lang namin kung ano nakikita namin sa TV. Magpe-play kami ng music as a background para yun yung background music. As in ganun. So, ever since, feeling ko dun yung inclination ko towards the arts, but hindi naman ako straight pumasok into film as my first parang undergraduate course. Parang palipat-lipat pa ako up until umabot ako sa film. I was in management, I went to engineering, and then went to film. Mainly because I felt for the business ad, I couldn't imagine myself parang doing parang routinary work. I was supposed to graduate na, but then I pulled out. Lumipat ako to Diliman. I was supposed to apply for fine arts, and the other option was engineering, materials engineering in UP Diliman. Tapos feeling ko mapapasok ako sa fine arts. Parang as in sobrang confident ko. Tapos hindi, naka-waitlist ako. So sabi ko, inis ako sa sarili ko. Then materials engineering called, pasok daw ako. But also, yung chika within the people that I know, sa materials engineering, you can actually get in because they parang onti lang yung population ng students. Yeah. So anyway, I went to materials engineering, tapos parang worst 2 years of my life because because I'm not good at math. I'm not good at anything like chemistry and whatsoever. First sem, I talked to the dean and begged them if I can shift back to shift to another course. They said I need to pass everything. So iyon, yung first year ko lahat tres. Napasa ko naman, sa kalipat na ako ng film. Ganun lang yung journey ko paano ako napasok sa film. And then when I was in film school na sa UP Diliman, the thing was everyone wanted to become directors. I also wanted to become one, but then hindi ako yung mapalad na may kaya to begin with. Like when I was in UP, wala akong camera, wala akong laptop, wala akong anything. So what I would do is I would help my friends shoot, help my friends edit. After I helped them, I would borrow their gadgets para makagawa ako ng akin. Tapos yun, deep inside, gusto ko naman talaga mag-direct, but then na-enjoy ko yung editing.
Yeah.
And I felt it was also, in a way, directing na din since you're like telling a story and whatsoever. So when I graduated, sa edit ako nag-focus habang yung iba kong batchmates nagsasalpukan gusto mag-direct. So bahala sila doon. Yun. And then I started editing almost 10 years na. Tapos in between, I said to myself, like maybe I should try what I wanted before. So I started making shorts. Luckily, it went to festivals and then ayun.
Right. Yeah. Salamat sa kwento na yon, Carlo, no. Parang ang hirap isipin na nung nasa Diliman ka na taking management and then yun nga 10 years later.
Yung management ko sa UP was not yet in Diliman. It was in UP.
Tacloban pa siya. Okay.
Tapos I transferred to Diliman for the engineering course.
Engineering, I see. Okay. Sige. Miss May, balikan kita yung kasi nabanggit mo kanina no yung background mo sa teatro. Naging seamless ba yung parang halos ano ba siya, natural extension ba yung naging trabaho mo sa pelikula dahil nandun ka sa mundo ng teatro?
Actually, oo. Kasi, like for example, nung nandun ako sa PETA at bagong-bago ako, kilig na kilig ako nun kasi, like for example, the likes of Lino Broca, Bernal, ang mga extra nila, mga taga-PETA. So, kukunin nila kami. And then, of course, you're working with Lino Broca. I was so young. Virgin pa ako nung charot. Anyway, katrabaho mo yung mga greats na katulad nila. Nakakatuwa. And so yung influence din sa akin ng mga klase ng pelikula na Lino Broca, yung mga Bernal, and then yung PETA. Parang ano siya, parang makikita mo kung ano siya pag makita mo yung klase ng trabaho na meron ako ngayon.
Right.
Diba?
Right.
Which is very political, which is, hoping to be transformative.
Yeah.
It wants to raise consciousness, which is really my very strong background in theater. But at the same time, yung craft, yung kailangan magara yung pagkagawa, malinis, mahusay, yun naman yung gift sa akin ng advertising. Because I was in advertising and I was a director. I mean, nagtitinda ako ng mga gatas, Jollibee, bangko, shampoo, alam mo yun? And that to me was really great training.
I see.
Because the discipline, the craft, alam mo naman sa commercial, di ba? Parang talagang mahuhon ka dahil yung how to sell a product. I mean, how do you really talk to your audience, di ba? Although I hated the word aspirational when I was in advertising kasi nung palagi mong maririnig. Aspiration. Kailangan aspirational tayo, direct kasi gano'n, ha? But anyway, malaking ano sa akin yun, napakalaking tulong. And I think that combination of yung politics and then yung commercial, danaig yung PETA, yung I guess yung pagiging makabayan ko. Pero ang laki ng tulong sa paghuhon ng craft thanks to advertising.
Right. And then I may nabasa ako na several articles about yung struggle mo to make tao po. Ano yung germ ng idea na yon to make the play muna yung play na tao po. Saan nagsimula yon?
Well, kasi you watch the news every single day mula nung maupo si President Duterte. Diba, may namatay sa Caloocan, nakatakip ang mukha, nakabalot ng tape. And then every day you are bombarded with that kind of news. Ilan ang namatay, saan namatay, sino ito. I mean, na parang, and because it was happening every night, parang wala akong pakiramdam.
Yeah.
And to me, I felt really bad na as an artist, sabi ko, bakit wala akong nararamdaman? And these are people dying. How can I not feel anything? I mean, sabi ko, for an artist, this is going to be very scary. Because I know in my heart and in my head na mali, hindi tama, ganun-ganun. Pero bakit walang pakiramdam? And so sabi ko, para maibalik yung pakiramdam, I think I really have to take this on. And so I said, I want to do a play about this issue. Ang problema ko lang, syempre wala naman akong pera kasi nung iniwanan ko yung advertising at pumasok na ako sa pagiging aktivista, syempre yung life savings ko naubos.
Yeah.
Diba? Kasi this is really what I wanted to do. But, ang hirap naman talaga dahil hindi katulad ng advertising, talaga namang siksik liglig at umaapaw ang datong ko noon. Kaya kinailangan ko nung naubos na yung savings ko, I had to sell my car.
Yeah.
Para ako makagawa ng play. Play muna. And then because ang hirap talaga kumuha ng artista kasi pag may kinuha kang artista sabihin nila, naku, baka wala nang manood ng pelikula ko, baka hindi pumayag ang manager ko, baka ganito, baka ganyan. So sabi ko, ako na lahat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kasi meron akong hinaharap na problema ng budget eh.
Yeah.
And because nanggaling naman ako sa paggawa ng satire on YouTube as Wanna Change, kung saan I take on different personas. Diba? I don't know if you're familiar with my satires on YouTube na iba't ibang tao yung pinoportray ko. So parang natural din sa akin na kung nung nag-EJK ako, if I'm gonna be portraying only 4 characters, sabi ko ako na lahat. So siguro magandang challenge din sa akin bilang artista na magawa yon. But this time, a strong 4 powerful narratives of people na ni-research namin, sinundan, inaral, hanggang sa maisulat ni Maynard. Yung 4 na mga characters na napili namin for tao ko.
Bali, ikaw kumausap kay Maynard to write.
Oo, it was my idea and I said, Maynard, hindi ako makatulog. You need to help me. Actually, initially, I was wanting Roddy to write it.
Yeah.
Kaya lang si Roddy was really already very busy.
Yeah.
So sabi ko, pwede bang si Maynard ang pasulatin ko and then alalay ka? Sabi niya, oh, sige, very good. So, yun ang nangyari. Kami dalawa ni Maynard yung sumasama sa Nightcrawlers, yung pagpupunta sila, kinukunan nila yung mga natutokhang, sumasama kami. And then sa therapy, na-meet ko na si Nanay Rusing, si Lovely, at kung paano, nung kinikwento paano namatay yung nanay at tatay ni Lovely, yung asawa at anak ni Nanay Rusing. I mean, doon na yun. Pero yung struggle ko to do it was talagang very real kasi ang daming mga balakid noon para ko magawa. Pero I knew this is what I wanted to do and sabi ko, no, hindi ako papayag na hindi ito matuloy. And in fairness, when ever since the inception of Tao Po to what it is right now, kasi biglang nagkaroon ako ng grant to make it a film.
Yeah.
And I mean this is thanks to 2 fellowships na nagkaroon ako ng pera. Although of course hindi naman yun sapat, kulang pa rin, pero somehow alam mo yung mga pakiusap sa CCP, bigyan nyo akong discount sa equipment. Yung mga naniniwala naman sa akin at sa aking advocacy, sabi niya, sige May, total alam naman yung ginagawa mo. So I got really great discount from because I did the 4 or 5 camera setup for Tao Po. And I only had one day to shoot the entire film. And ako ang artista, ako ang director, ako ang producer, ako pa ang caterer. So you know how I was, and napakaganda talaga ng background ko because I came from theater na ako stage manager.
Yeah.
In advertising, I was production manager. So I knew how to budget, how to make sure that I work within time, within budget. I mean, lahat yun. So talagang na-practice ko sa Tao Po. Talagang nakalinya yan. Pre-pro, itong gagawin, itong setup ng camera, itong movement sa camera, ito. Ganyan. So, malaking tulong for me.
Yeah. This was already pandemic ba when you shot?
Yes, this is a pandemic film. Because in fact, dapat alis ako to do a tour of Tao Po in the US as a play. Pero dahil nagtao po, hindi yan natuloy. Pero ngayon, meron ding turang Tao Po podline na nga lang. It's a Love for Humanity World Tour of Tao po. It's happening starting tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Miss May. Patrick, your first film was Ati-Atihan Lives, no? Ano yung naging, di ba sabi mo kanina parang natural extension na lang ng pagiging anthropologist mo and dance anthropologist at that, yung paghawak ng camera dahil nga mas sa tingin mo accessible ito sa tao. Malinaw na ba sa'yo na ang magiging una mong pelikula would have something to do with Ati-Atihan?
Yeah, kasi yun ang naging dissertation ko eh.
I see, okay.
At saka nung nag-umpisa ako ng dissertation work ko nung 2000, lumabas na talaga yung digital technology. So napakadali na. So sabi ko parang napaka-irresponsible ko naman ata kung hindi ko gawan ng produkto itong mga sinushoot ko kasi nga parang I really wanted to move beyond the written text. And sabi ko, napakadaming materials na to. Actually, hindi nga lang Ati-Atihan Lives or Ati-Atihan Lives yung nagawa ko doon. May Panaad pa ako, may isa pa akong nagawa na puro mga films. So parang nag-experiment talaga ako. Kasi ang dami kong materials, di ba? Kasi pag nag-research ka, ang problema mo dyan is, ang tawag ka dyan, you have a champagne problem, right? Ang dami-dami mong materials, anong gagawin mo dito? And then sabi ko, parang ito na yung dissertation ko, pero ano naman ang gagawin ko dito? Kasi at the end of the day, if you're publishing a book, 4 or 5 lang na ang allowed ng mga photos dyan, ang dami-dami mong materials. So sabi ko, parang napaka-irresponsible ko naman kung hindi ko gagawa nito. So ginawan ko yon ng and even before that may nagawa pa akong isang maliit na project na Boxing in the Shadow of Pacquiao. So kasi nga na-bored ako. Na-bored ako sa Aklan. Sabi ko, ano bang gagawin ko dito? Sabi ko talagang galing ka Manila, galing ka ng Los Angeles. Sabi ko pagdating ko sa Aklan, kahit na taga doon naman ako, tawa ng tawa si May. Sabi ko, Diyos ko, maluluka naman ata ako dito, wala akong magawa. So sabi ko, mag-boxing nga ako. Kasi nga, di ba yung boxing is like dance? Actually, boxing is like dance kasi tawag dyan sa dance, structured improvisation. Kasi may mga limits, may punch ka lang, may may hook, may ganyan, may mga limits yan eh. So sabi ko, ang ganda pag-aralin ito, parang sayaw. So kumuha ako ng boxing instructor, tapos nag-boxing ako sa apartment. Sabi niya, uy, Sir Patrick, sabi niya, ang galing-galing mo, boxer ka ba? Hindi. Sabi niya, bakit marunong ka? Sabi niya, pero alam kong hindi ka boxer kasi tama yung ginagawa mo, ang hina ng suntok mo.
Footwork lang.
Oo, sabi niya, ang bilis mo. Parang ang galing. Kasi marunong ako mag-memorize ng steps, di ba? Gayahin mo, choreography yan eh. Pero walang impact. So natuwa ako doon, that world opened up for me. And I think yung social consciousness ko talaga, in many ways, nag-start sa boxing eh. Kasi na-introduce ako sa world ng mga boksingero sa Aklan na gustong maging Pacquiao. So sabi ko, ang ganda-ganda ng kwento na ito. Kasi, tinan mo, common yan eh, di ba? May universal themes. Ganun naman ng documentary, dapat may universal themes. Discipline, di ba? Grit, resilience, ganyan. Di ba? So lahat-lahat yan, from rags to riches, gusto nila. So naging title ng Boxing in the Shadow of Pacquiao. I was very fortunate. I worked with this colleague of mine na ex ko dati. Tatawa si taga-Tacloban din pala, Carlo. Si Fruto Core, ang galing-galing na filmmaker. Si Fruto, ex ko yan si Fruto. Siya talaga nang-introduce sa akin. NYU, Tish, ganyan-ganyan. So sabi niya, kumuha ka ng docu, Patrick. Sabi niya, sayang yung mga materials mo. So sabi ko, sige, mag-experiment tayo dito sa sa boxing na to. Ako director ha. Sabi ko, ganyan-ganyan. Natanggap sa New York Times. Pinitch niya, natanggap. So sabi ko, mukhang may pag-asa ata ako dito sa filmmaking na to. So sabi ko, mukhang kung napapansin ng New York Times, kahit na maiksi lang, kahit na 4 minutes lang or 3 minutes, at least may nakita sila sa mga kwento na gusto ko. So yun talaga inayos ko yung Ati-Atihan Lives or Ati-Atihan Lives, Panaad. Tapos yun nga yung caregiver, nakakuha ako ng grant dito, naging professor ako. I did my work sa mga caregivers dito sa Toronto. I did it for 5 years, ha? 5 years in the making yun. Talagang kinareer ko yun. Kinareer ko talaga. Sabi ko, kung may gagawin akong pelikula, aayusin ko talaga. Kasi nga, katulad na sabi ni Miss May, yung training ko kasi sa Filipiniana under Cora Inigo, talagang dapat mahusay, maayos, perfecto. Alam mo yun, talagang no stone unturned. And syempre sa Department of English, napakataas ng standards nila, and then so sabi ko kung gagawa rin lang naman ako, gagawin ko na talagang super na maayos, and I could be very proud of it. And also if you come out with a good product, an excellent product, it also shows respect to your subject.
Yeah.
Di ba, na hindi mo lang binasta-basta yung proyekto. Kasi nag-invest din sila ng mga buhay nila. Imagine mo, 4 years mo silang sinundan. Di ba? Tapos hindi maganda yung produkto mo. So, yun ang siguro ang naging ko na, at the end of the day, it's really about mga milestones and moments sa buhay mo na nag-shape talaga kung saan ka eh. And then hindi lang ikaw, but also the communities that you have elected to engage with. And also the issues that you have also elected to be constitutional about, 'di ba? Ano ba talagang importante sa iyo, 'di ba? So ang importante ko is that to put a spotlight on, the ability of sports, the ability of the arts to really lift people out of poverty, hopefully, and to create positive change. So yun ang yun ang naging travel ko from. Actually, pag tinitinan ko nga yung Ati-Atihan Lives or Ati-Atihan Lives, sabi ko, ang layo ng, it's humbling. It's humbling to see kung saan ka nanggaling, di ba? At kung saan ka papatungo. But all those things are really, really important, And then, of course, A Will to Dream. Ito yung latest work ko. Na 5 years in the making din pala, Skill Team.
5 years din.
Yes. Sorry, May, na one day shoot ka, but it's not that I'm from the global north and you're from the global south. Galing din naman ako doon. But ang ginagawa ko lang naman kasi is that tuwing umuwi ako every summer, kasi pag professor ka kasi dito, pag summer wala kang turo. Eh ano naman gagawin ko dito, 'di ba? Sayang naman these are my productive years at saka yung materials ko nasa Manila. So uwi ako ng uwi. So for the past actually mga 7 years nga yan eh, kasi by Dancing Manileños pa yan before eh. So it came from a small film into a bigger film. Kasi naniniwala ako na if you're going to invest in a long narrative, kailangan tingnan mo muna kung kayang i-hold ng narrative ang feature. Feature work. So yun, yung Dancing Manileños na yon, na 20 minutes, that convinced me na sabi ko, kaya itong maging feature film. So binalikan ko. And then naging A Will to Dream siya. So talagang talagang I'm very proud of this work kasi dinugo ako sa editing dyan. Carlo, sana nandito ka. Diyos ko, sabi ko, maluloka na ata ako dito sa materials na to. Ano ba to? Dami-dami naman. Bakit ko ba to? Para bang ano ba to? Bakit ba ako shoot ng shoot? Ganyan. Tapos, but at the end of the day, alam mo yun, wag mong bibitawan. Wag mong bibitawan talaga.
Did you have to get an editor ba? Or okay.
Nag-edit, oo. Pero side by side, Skilty. Kasi ang editor ko kasi Canadian. So ang maganda, hindi siya marunong magtagalog.
Okay.
So ang ganda kasi naging blessing sa akin 'yan. Naging blessing in a way kasi sabi ko parang I am forced to translate this work for a different audience.
Yeah.
Alam mo yun? Not that I'm saying na kung Filipino editor mo hindi magagawa yun, but nakakapagbigay siya ng different perspective. Kasi minsan kasi pagkakultura mo, may mga things na automatic, di ba?
Yes. Shared siya.
Pero, shared siya eh. Pero pag si Alec Bell, yun ang editor ko, Patrick, ano ba to? Hindi ko to maintindihan. Bakit ang haba-haba naman ito? Hindi na to nagiging documentary, nagiging news na. Iksian natin dito, iksian natin ganyan, talagang wow. And then tama itong English mo pero hindi idiomatic. Alam mo 'yon? So yung subtitling talaga, ako talagang humawak ng subtitling. And then mga ano lang kumuha kami ng yung 5 parang 5 terabyte na Vimeo. Back and forth ng mga moments lang. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? Ganyan. Kasi pandemic yung editing eh, hindi kami pwedeng magkita.
Right.
So yun, talagang naging master ako ng Vimeo.
I can
Unti-unti,
imagine.
1 minute lang, mga moments lang. Kasi, di ba, 90 minutes lang talaga ang feature. So, di ba, 90, 95. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and then 4 years of materials, maybe even
yeah.
5. Di ba? So, anong huhugutin mo doon? So, yun talaga yung naging challenge ko na ano. Pero, ang gusto ko talaga, involved ako. I'm a very, awan ko ba,
Yeah.
may pagkaano ako may pagka-obsessive ako eh. So sabi ko kailangan ko talagang maging involved. Na kahit na editor siya and ako director, producer, lahat na no.
Yeah.
Sabi ko gusto ko talagang may hand talaga ako. May
Yeah,
hand
yeah.
talaga ako. So yung pag-shape ng arc,
Right.
kasali talaga ako.
Carlo, before you made Kun Maupay, of course you've made several short films, no? And then you've edited a lot more feature-length films, no? Many of them even mainstream commercial films. At alam ko na mahaba din yung germination period nitong Kun Maupay. Obviously inspired by the events of Yolanda, no? Gaano nung nasaan ka nung Yolanda pala? Nasaan ka nun? You're muted.
I was in Manila during the time yung ay nasa sa Tacloban na mismo. I mean like nagkagulo. But I had news prior, like hours before. Kinakausap ko na yung pamilya ko na lumikas to somewhere else. And then, parang just after that call, putol na lahat ng signal. So
Morning,
I was
day of na ito, day of Yolanda.
Yes, tapos just worried for the whole day up until a certain point that I decided na pumunta doon.
How many days after Yolanda?
Like a day and a half.
Oh,
After, day and a half nandun na ako. As in, nakahanap akong connection to actually board a military plane that contained no other human beings.
Wow.
Ako lang. It was like satellite dishes for the communication signals and a few parang big crates. I was alone at the back ng C-130 plane. So yun. Yeah.
So naisip mo ba na kukuha ng footage nung pagdating mo doon?
Actually, during the time na I was boarded na sa plane flying to Tacloban, few minutes na parating, parang nasa isip ko, pinoprogram ko na yung sarili ko na buong pamilya ko ipatay na. Parang mainly because what you see in the news, everyone's dead, and all the like I kind of memorized the geography of my place. So medyo alam ko yung mga places that they were covering, and it was really places where like friends and families lived there. So ganun yung nasa isip ko na para pag nakita ko baka ano na lang maayos na burol or whatsoever. Ay wala akong maisip na matino noon eh. Anyway, when I arrived, so I had with me 2 phones. It was like under my shirt. I wanted to take photos or like for documentation purposes of my family here in Manila so that they would know what's up with the place, ganyan. So I did the first few minutes, but then I stopped. Mainly because I felt parang hindi ko siya dapat ginagawa. Parang ganun. Hindi ko siya dapat ginagawa. Tapos many times also, every time I took photos of like friends na namatay or ano, parang palaging may nangyayaring after na effect. Like, nahabol ako ng mga tao, as in kinukuha nila yung bag ko. So parang on a basic level, I did not take photos because it was too dangerous. But also, I did not take photos and videos mainly because I felt hindi ko dapat siya ginagawa. And the whole time that I was there, like roaming around the streets of Tacloban, trying to find whoever I know, like my family and friends and whatsoever. Parang wala akong maramdaman. Walang anything. I felt like I was programmed to just find these people. So I was like walking. I had a bag with me with water and like candies. So parang I remember in front of the Tacloban Astrodome, the stadium. I was really tired to the point na, so this is the main street. Tumayo lang ako sa gitna. Tapos humiga ako. As in, katabi ko yung mga patay. Wala akong maramdaman kasi sobrang pagod na ako. Tapos hindi ko alam kung saan ako pupunta. Walang signal, walang anything. Ayun. Tapos, ayun, I continued my journey. Pero like a lot of really absurd moments na you would not think na ay ang weird naman ng pangyayari because it was just happening one after another. So, ayun. Yeah. Eventually, I found them. Yeah.
Your family was safe.
Yeah, masamang damo yung buong pamilya ko.
Nung kinikwento mo, parang naintindihan ko na yung yung gustong maiparating sa Kun Maupay, because of course it's a very tragic story, but then the film itself has many halos magical realist siya, surrealist. But even your previous films, yung mga short films mo, meron ng ganong quirky elements na something is not parang traditional sa paggawa mo ng narrative films. Parang there's always something lurking underneath, right? Paano mo, gano'n na ba talaga ever since yung aesthetic mo na parang hindi ka gagawa ng traditional film?
I can't say, pero parang I mean like sa industry at least dito, I'm one of those people na hindi ako lumalabas or pumupunta sa social events. Maybe because I get anxious, but I like observing people. And when I observe, and then when I notice something, I hyper-focus. Don't like todong hyper-focus, like to the point na mukhang stalker ka na. Pero I really hyper-focus yung mga hindi napapansin. Tapos doon nagsispring out lahat ng ideas. Like I felt, Kun Maupay was me hyper-focusing on myself. Para siyang more than the situation, more than the issues that are being discussed, like natural disasters, parang disaster reduction or whatsoever, about family, the government or whatsoever. On a personal level, I felt like para siyang diary ko na binabasa ng mga tao ng paunti-unti. May ganong feeling. And I let them. And I feel letting them read this diary, quote unquote, felt na parang mas ready na ako to approach how, not just on a personal level, but mas malaki na yung tinatakal na naratibo na gusto kong maiparating sa nanonood.
Thanks, Carlo. Miss May, when you decided to film Tao Po, ano yung mga naging apprehensions mo nun? Because obviously, ito yung first film nyo, na full-length film. Anong mga nasa isip mo nun in deciding to make the film? Unmute po.
I was not so sure kasi if it will work as a film.
Right.
Kasi, of course, when you're doing performance, especially I was performing in very intimate theaters like the Batute, na kung saan pag nagpa-perform ako, kahit yung pag nasa first row ka, pwede kang talsikan ng laway ko. And you can really feel my energy, and I was so close to the audience, I could hear them sobbing, and talagang doon, ganun kalapit, no? Sabi ko, paano kaya to pagka-pelikula na? But, sabi kong ganyan, meron namang iba na nagsabi, May, I think it'll work. But I guess, meron kang pangahawakan, but until you get to, kaya ako excited nun na mag-edit, na mabuo, kasi I really want to know for sure that it'll work. Buti nilang meron akong kaibigan na, I don't know if you have been to Cinepop.
I haven't.
Uh,
I haven't. Gusto kong pumunta.
you might want to watch go there and watch Tao Po on the big
Yeah.
screen. And then I invited a few people at yun na nga, like for example, yung some people in LaSalle because I got the grant, one was from LaSalle. And when they watched, I was talagang shocked when they told me, wow, May, merong mga nandun sa play na akala mo na parang okay, pero sa pelikula din naman, iba rin ang dating kasi like yung simpleng picture ng ni Rafi Lerma, ang lalaki.
Yeah.
Kasi di ba sa play, nandun lang siya sa background, para siyang nasa projection screen na maliit. But dun sa pelikula, I mean, there were cutaways, talagang makikita mo yung photo lang.
Right.
Na talaga namang ang laki-laki na nagpe-perform ako in front of people. And iba rin naman pala yung dating. So sabi nila magkaiba lang, but I think it is just as powerful. So doon medyo nakahinga-hinga ako kasi dahil I guess performer ako, theater artist na talagang sanay ako na nararamdaman ko yung audience. And then ito, parang nanonood na lang ako sa kanya kasi gawa na siya. Parang, I wasn't quite sure what the effect of the film will be on the audience. But ever since then, I've had a number of screenings and andun din yung power na experience ng mga tao dun sa play.
Yeah.
And so ito parang so okay rin pala na naging pelikula siya. Kasi I mean, hindi talaga madali na mag-perform, especially kung halimbawa 2 performance ako sa isang araw and then 58 na ako, di ba? Parang hanggang kailan ko ba ito magagawa? I mean, I'm glad na naging pelikula na siya. So nakapag-migrate ako from stage to film. So yun talaga yung biggest apprehension ko.
Right.
If it will work in the medium of film.
I'm gonna ask Nico kasi napanood niya pareho yung play.
Yeah. I was gonna say na medyo nag-agree ako na although halos similar yung material, ibang-iba yung impact niya as a play at iba din yung impact niya as a film. For the first napanood ko siya sa play, I remember crying dun sa part about the little girl. Si little girl. But correct ma'am, tama yung dun sa film, dun sa photojournalism, yung sa photojournalism, iba yung dating niya when it's like right in front of your face. Kasi tama ma'am when you're watching dun sa Batute, sometimes the projector is not that bright. Hindi mo din siya napapansin. So may iba, I remember dun sa play na minsan hindi mo pa napapansin kasi you're watching Miss May, you're watching the performance and that you're not even looking at the screen. So yun yung malaking difference din siguro. So tama. I mean, like, I agree with Miss May na may ibang impact yung film dun sa play. But I wanted to ask ma'am, did you ever fear for your safety after releasing the play? Or kasi there are stories of photojournalists and documentaries na fearing for their life or their safety after releasing something na medyo sensitive.
Well, actually, kasi I have been an activist for 40 years na. Ano na ba? 1983. Ano na ba? Do the math. So, I mean, medyo, ever since then, medyo na talaga ako sa mga, yung buhay acts, di ba? I mean, I've had my rounds of, like, for example, yung kakasuhan ako ng military, gusto kong ipakulong because I wore the military uniform. I've done quite a number of political satires. But of course, those were past presidents. Pero kasi itong kay Duterte talagang, I mean, siya na nga, maamin na mamamatay tao siya eh. Of course, it crossed my mind, it crossed my mind na pwedeng mangyari sa akin. Kasi nga lagi siya ang tapang-tapang mo, bakit ka gumagawa ng mga ganyang klaseng pelikula, Pero ako naman kasi, nung iniisip kong gawin ito, dumaan yan sa isip ko, pero sabi ko, talagang yun yung gusto kong gawin eh. Parang I will not be true to myself if I will turn away and say, I should think of my safety. I think I felt my safety was being true to who I was. I felt safe being me. Kasi if I choose not to be me and hide because, this might cost my life o baka ako papatay, ganun. Hindi naman talaga ako yun eh. I think mas nakakatakot yun para sa akin. But the fact na buo yung loob ko and I knew in my heart that this is what I wanted, that gave me the safety of living my life sovereign and knowing what I want out of my art and knowing what I want to do as an artist. Naging second na yung baka mamaya I mean, you know, isang bala ka lang, mga ganyan-ganyan. There was that, but I had to confront it in a way that made me get in touch with the best of who I am, rather than be cowered by fear because you know I was wanting to live. I mean, this is living. I mean, you know, taking risks. You know, not coming from fear. To me, is living rather than you know, to be safe.
Yeah.
Parang ang corny no.
Yeah.
Corny, you know. So yun.
Thanks, Miss May. I have a question for siguro for everyone. Who are your influences in film? Like parang formative for you. Like you look up to these people in your craft of filmmaking. Patrick, you?
Yeah, I could start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Syempre yung una ko when I was in my early 20s and I was introduced to the UP Film Center. Syempre na-influence talaga ako ni Fruto kasi kagagaling niya lang ng ano noon, siya talagang nag-open ng world, so I was able to watch Pedro Almodovar, mga ganun, mga classics ni Zhang Yimou. So talagang inano niya ako, talagang shape niya ako into that world, yung filmic world, no? So saka kasi nga again, I was dancing and at the same time sa English ako. So parang yung literature, I love literature. I was reading Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Pramudia Anantatur, mga ganun. So talagang parang nag-click talaga sa akin na ang ganda-ganda ng world na to. And syempre galing ako ng Aklan, ano ba naman wala naman kami mga Pedro Almodovar, mga ganun doon. But yung tatay ko kasi ang hilig-hilig sa pelikula. Ang hilig, si Papa talagang hilig-hilig. Tapos awang ko ba gustong-gusto niya akong dalhin lagi. So ang dami kasi kami magkakapatid, 6 kami. So lagi paborito niya ako eh. So sabi niya, tawag niya sa akin to, Bisaya kasi doon tayo sine. Tapos meron siyang motor, dadalhin niya. So tatahimik lang kami, mag-escape kami, sasakay kami sa motor, sasakay kami. So parang yung world na yun ng pelikula became very special for me as a child. And you know, the power of the narrative. And of course, to see the world outside Aklan. Kasi yung liit lang ng di ba, probinsya. So parang nakikita ko na, uy, ito pala yung mundo sa Latin America, ito pala yung mundo sa ganyan. So talagang I was living vicariously in many ways. And of course, you know, and growing, and alam ko na kasi noon bading na ako. So nakikita ko ay sabi ko, may mga bading din pala doon sa mga ganyan. So na-realize ko na, you know, makakakita ka ng, you could understand yourself and who you are by looking at at difference, di ba?
Right.
Hindi lang nasa konteksto mo. So yun nga, nung pumunta na ako ng UP Film Center, dinadala ako ni Fruto, nakikita ko laging may mga film festival, ganyan. But siguro recently, ang gustong-gusto ko talaga, alam mo, I don't know if you're familiar with this incredible documentary film. I think it's masterful. Yung Last Train Home yung siya din yung gumawa ng siya Up the Yanzi so kwento ng yung Last Train Home talagang masterful sa. At syempre yung Born into Brothel. Pero mas gusto ko itong Last Train Home kasi talagang masterful yung pagkagawa ng, ang tawag ko dyan is observational documentary.
Right.
Yun ang gusto ko yung observational documentary filmmaking. Para kang fly in the wall na talagang parang ginadala mo, and that's just me. Na parang, and it is a product of very, very careful research and very, very deep engagement with your subjects. So talagang yun talaga ang influence ko sa akin recently. Syempre yung mga pelikula na yung ibang mga documentaries na nagawa sa atin. Like si Ditzi Carolino, I love Ditzi Carolino's works, for example.
Yeah.
Yung mga early works niya ni Nana Buksani, mga ganun. So, yung mga world na yun. But if you ask me most current influence ko, yung mga pelikula na yan
Ni Sinfa.
Ni Sifa, yes, exactly right. Masterful. Canadian. Not that I'm promoting Canadian films, but natuwa lang ako na Canadian. Na sabi ko, ang galing naman ito. Ang galing talaga. I mean, yung talk about serendipity. Talk about yung mga twists and turns. Sometimes nakikita ko, ano ba to? Staged ba to? Staged ba to? Scripted ba to? Or totoo ba to? Talagang hindi ka makapaniwala na nagawa nila yon na docu. Na docu talaga siya. But it's documentary. So, yun siguro ang, if you ask me kung saan ako papatungo, parang yun ang dream ko. Yung ganung klaseng narrative,
right.
Ganung klaseng narrative. Not I'm saying na hindi sophisticated yung iba, but it's just my kind of storytelling.
Yeah. So you can see yourself making a film na walang talking heads. Documentary film without talking heads.
Yun ang gustong-gusto ko.
Yeah.
Yun ang gustong-gusto ko. Still, I tried that. Na wala siyang on-cam interviews.
Yeah.
Alam mo yun? Pero ang hirap Alam mo yun? Ang hirap talaga. So, yun siguro ang I'm sorry, Miss May, yun siguro ang aspiration ko.
Yeah.
Nakikinig ako.
Right. Yeah.
Check.
Actually, also, it's my kind of documentaries. Then may ganong equivalent sa France, yung I forgot the name. May ganong group sa France ba yun or sa London. Yung Carlo, familiar kay sa Leviathan, yung yung nasa dagat sila. Yun, yung ganong klaseng film na may camera lang tapos tumitingin lang sa mga tao. Pero ang dami mong nakukuhang halos spiritual yung impact sa'yo. Of course, anthro din kasing background ko So, I really appreciate those kinds of films na parang really immersive into a particular milieu.
Yung documentary ni Love Diaz sa Tacloban.
Yeah. Oo. May ganun siyang short documentary.
Well, to Love Diaz, it's short.
Yeah, for him, of course.
Yeah. Diba di ba si Love, pag sinasabi niya na, pwede ka pag umuwi, mag-make love ka doon, bumalik ka, ganun kahaba yung pelikula niya.
Yeah.
Kumain ka muna, magchika-chika ka muna.
Right. Speaking of Love Diaz, Miss May, you also had a film with him actually last year, no? Historia ni Ha. And then, can you tell us a bit, siguro, how did you get to know? Of course, you appeared in Norte, right? Was that your first collaboration with him? How did you get to know him?
Yeah, that was the first. Well, kasi kaibigan ko si Moira, and then when they were talking about doing Norte, and then she told me that she was gonna work with Love, and sabi ko, si Love Diaz. And napanood ko yung pelikula niya sa Batang West Side, di ba? Sobrang gustong gusto ko yun.
Yeah.
4 na oras ba yun o 5 oras?
5
hindi ako makaiwi. 5 hours. Pero sabi ko, how can a movie not even make me want to go out and pee? Sabi ko ganyan, I didn't want to miss anything. And sabi ko, wow. So when I found out that, he was doing Norte, nag-apply ako. Sabi ko, Moira, kailangan ipakilala mo ko kay Love Diaz. Kailangan makasali ako sa pelikula na yan. And so when Love found out that I wanted to be part of the movie, in fact, he gave me a good role.
Very memorable.
Very memorable yung role na yun. So ako talagang sobra akong proud kasi I think Norte is one of Love's best films for me, no? Of course, yung Batang West End, gustong-gusto ko rin yun.
Yeah.
And ang mga influence ko naman, growing up, because lumaki ako sa PETA, syempre, si Lino. Lino, hanggang sa nakikita ko siya.
Sana din yung sagot ko, Miss May.
Ha?
Nagawa mo yung sagot ko.
Inunahan mo si Carlo.
Nakilala ko siya, and then hanggang sa, At saka gusto ko kay Lino yung, di ba, gumagawa siya ng mga pelikulang bayan ko, and then meron din siyang mga very commercial na mga pelikula na wala siyang pagbabalat kayo pag ginawa niya kung ano-anong mga ano. I really I really identified with the kind of films that Lino did, you know. And then of course there was Mike De Leon. Nandun ako sa Sister Stella L. Alam mo yon, yung parang swerte-swerte ko na these great filmmakers, I was, even if my role was very small, but just being in the presence of artists like them, parang feeling ko parang, wow, alam mo yon. And so, yun. But of course, growing up, talagang mahilig na ako magsiri. Kahit ako mag-isa, nanood nga ako nung yung Exorcist, mag-isa ako. I mean, you know, because I really love watching films. I dared watching alone. And ever since then, parang meron akong namamangha ako dun sa yung ang laki-laki ng screen. Di ba lalo nung araw, di ba ang lalaki ng screen ng mga sinehan?
Yeah.
So talagang just the thought na parang wow, it's so huge in front of me na parang ang feeling ko parang this is, I really wanted to get into that world. Pero parang hindi ko naman sa parang sinadya, pero parang unti-unti because of theater, advertising, and my whole evolution as an activist and artist, parang, I mean, parang everything kind of paved the way for me to be the filmmaker that I am in tao po. Parang ganun.
Thanks, Miss May. Carlo?
Naguna ni Miss May. Well, Lino Broca talaga. Parang I'm very fond of watching and rewatching all his films. Tapos the recent ones, mainly because parang nung nag-start akong parang anong klase ng pelikula yung saan ko i-categorize the kind of film that I'm making. Kasi parang hindi rin ako manood ng pelikula eh. Like parang nagtatrabaho ako sa film, ang dami ko nang na-edit, pero hindi ako manood ng pelikula. So parang, like for example, if I'm in a situation with friends, si Benjo na na-interview nyo din, parang si Benjo walking IMDb yan. Pag nag-uusap-usap kami, pag may mention siya ng film, pag may mention siya ng artista, kwento or whatsoever, nga lang ako. As in wala talaga. Tapos parang, I think, nung nagsa-start din ako, parang sabi ko, pwede pala yung ganitong pelikula. Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yeah.
I really parang like watching, tapos inuulit-ulit ko lang, grabe, pwede palang ganito. Tapos parang, yun, finalo ko din yung filmography nila. Tapos, recent watch, but an old film, na parang that really struck me the most, na sobrang, I get emotional, even though napanood ko na siya na many times. An Elephant Sitting Still, Ubo.
Oh.
Yun, sobrang, I don't know, ang daming emotions every time, even though memorize ko na everything. Yeah.
Funny that you mentioned Yorgos, kasi yun nga, I'm not sure kung, of course, hindi lang naman siya yung naging influence sa'yo, no? Pero parang siya rin yung naisip ko when I watch a Carlo Manatad film, na parang there's something sinister lurking under a seemingly safe story. Parang merong something na unhinged, kumbaga. Nico, do you have questions for Patrick or Carlo before we wrap up?
Ako may question ako kay Carlo.
Yeah.
I don't know if you read some reviews about Kun Maupay, about how because of the absurdism or because of the absurdist take on Tacloban, on Yolanda, it somehow decontextualizes it, and parang ganon, may ganong basa, may ganong review. And, but you know, bago ko sumagot, just wanted to sabihin, when you were talking about how you went to Tacloban, experienced it like a day after the storm, somehow naiintindihan ko, tama yung, I agree with Skilty, somehow naiintindihan ko na kung saan ka nanggagaling. But ikaw, ano yung take mo dun?
I just want to cite an example also. Like a lot of the scenes, at least in the film, actually happened, or parang tinry kong i-balance to how I felt when it was happening, then translated sa film. Pinaka nag-struck sa akin the most was when we were waiting for up the plane to arrive, everyone was hungry. So it rained. They said may paparating na bagyo. Yung mga tao hindi natakot. They started looking up the sky and started drinking water. So nangyari talaga siya. Itong discussion, yes, I read reviews mainly because they sent it to me, so then we post it and whatsoever. For me, it excites me because I know naman for the fact that when I was making the film, more than anything, yung basa sa pelikula magiging subjective. Mas magfo-focus sila sa absurdism, mawawala yung point ng, let's say, the political side of the story, the personal side of the story. And every time I read reviews, itong tatlo yung umiikot. But more than anything, kaya ako natutuwa kasi may conversation na pag-uusapan rather than, I would like to believe that I'd prefer to have a bad film tapos napag-uusapan rather than an okay film na when you watch it matapos wala na. Gets? Parang kaya every time I see all these reviews or people talking about this scene or iba na yung na-contextualize yung ano yung nangyari talaga during that time. So parang at least you have different takes on how the film affected you when you actually watched it. So yun.
Yeah, actually, yung kunikwento mo na pumunta ka doon sa Tacloban, tapos naalala ko kasi when you watch the film, yun yung sabi ko sa friend ko na you can actually smell the decay just by watching it. Ganun yung itsura niya, yung production, yung production.
Sobrang galing ng production design.
Yes.
Yeah.
Paano ba namin ano yun? As in, as much as possible, I would want it to be parang sa photographic memory ko in my head, the same, to the point na the few pictures I took and pictures that we see, we search on the internet, yun yung nagiging basehan. Like to the littlest details of like anong color ng baso yung nakikita mo. As in, ganon kalala. And also, hindi ko rin, every time people would ask me, paano yun yung nagawa? Hindi ko rin alam. So, props to Wami din. Kasi it was a crazy experience. And the film looks like parang ang big ng scope, but we only shot for 19 days.
Wow.
You didn't shoot in Tacloban, diba?
Sorry?
Sa Tacloban ba kayo nag-shoot?
We shot in Tacloban, like non-negotiable scenes. The Astrodome.
Okay.
And by the seaside, those ones. Mainly because yun yung naalala ko kasi hindi mo siya ma-replicate to wherever. All others were shot in different locations in Luzon.
Okay.
Ayun.
All right. Siguro last question for everyone. Nico?
Yeah, may question ako kay Patrick.
Please.
Kasi you went to Hong Kong, diba? With the leader. Was that part of the documentary or that was just like nagkataon lang na pupunta siya talaga ng Hong Kong?
That was really for the documentary.
Okay.
Kasi nga kailangan namin ng ipakita yung iba-ibang subjects sa film. And then so in my conversation with Luther, sabi ko, Luther, kung may pipiliin kang isang estudyante mo, sino yon? And sabi niya, itong sa Hong Kong kasi nga ang ganda ng nagawa sa buhay ng sayaw para sa kanya at sa pamilya niya. I mean, they live in a squatters area diyan sa Ramon Magsaysay High School, sa tabi ng Ramon Magsaysay, and nakapasok siya sa Hong Kong Disneyland. 'Di ba? So nung nakapasa siya sa Hong Kong Disneyland, naiahon niya yung pamilya niya sa kahirapan. And so yung parang ang ganda-gandang moment noon na ipakita na ito talaga this is a product of not only dance but also altruism, 'di ba? Yung kabutihan ng loob ng isang teacher na katulad ni Luther. So parang sabi ko importante 'yun. So pumunta kami talaga ng Hong Kong. Yun ang part na staged. Staged in many ways kasi naging naging decision, but the decision to go to Hong Kong was really Luther's kasi naniniwala ako na ang successful ng documentary, dapat collaboration, di ba, in the end. Hindi naman ikaw lang lahat
Yeah,
yan eh.
yeah.
So in many ways, yung pag-craft ng narrative ng A Will to Dream was really done in collaboration with Luther. In many, many ways, yung protagonist ng film. Tapos even yung mga bata doon, like for example, even sa Hong Kong kami, tinatanong namin si Rap Rap, yung dancer sa Hong Kong, ang hirap pala sa Disneyland mag-shoot ha. Napaka-stricto nila. Nako, talagang ang hirap, ang dami naming footage sa Hong Kong Disneyland na hindi namin nagamit kasi isusuka pala ng Disneyland pag wala kang permit. I mean, hayaan ka nilang pumasok doon with your camera. But that's one thing, but you cannot. So yun talagang nahirap namin yun, Nico. So we had to navigate around that. Kaya doon namin pinakita yung Hong Kong performance niya sa apartment niya. Yun ang naging solution namin doon. Pero yung mga pagpunta sa Disneyland, yung mga parade, hindi namin naipakita yun. Kasi nga, how do you get a permission from Disneyland? I mean, I don't even know how to begin to do that. So, baka pag meron na akong multi-million-dollar grant, baka pwede na akong tumawag sa Disneyland. Pwede ba i-release itong? So mga ganon, no? May mga ways of navigating. But to your question, Nico, it was a decision made with Luther. Kung paano ibuuin yung kwento na naka-intersect sa buhay niya.
Okay. Na-enjoy ko din yung documentary because as a Tony Fabs fan,
Oh,
and it became a tribute to him. And I think and I don't think a lot of people know Tony Fabella. I mean, they know his work. So parang when I was watching it, parang finally someone is parang paying tribute to Sir Tony Fabs, diba? Parang and his words were used, diba, dun sa documentary.
He should be really, I mean, if you ask me, he should be our next national artist.
Same.
Diba?
The performance in CCP, I was there.
Talaga?
So, yes, I was
Sana
there.
sinabi mo, pinikununan kita.
I was actually,
Kunan yan!
there was actually parang an audience shot. And I was like, sana makita
Yan
ko
sa sarili mo.
Hindi mo sinabi sa akin, Nico, napakadali na, pinapan sana kita. Sabi ko, freeze yan, medium shot. Kasali yan sa editing sa final cut kasali yan si Nico. But no, I mean, thank you for that. I mean, yun nga, I mean, as everybody knows, di ba, beginning, middle, and end naman yung Nico, di ba, Carlo, I don't know, pag yung meron ka talagang arc lagi sa narrative. So, compelling beginning, unexpected middle, di ba? And a kind of resolution in the end, mga ganun. So yung literature din yan. So anyway, but yung ano na yon, si Tony, kaya nga yung pagpili ng pelikula, ng title ng pelikula, sabi ko, kailangan A Will to Dream. Kasi words yan ni Tony Fabella. Words yan ni Tony Fabella. So in a way, it is also honoring a person who really gave so much to dance, and also to bring a spotlight on di ba, mga gay relationships, di ba, na importante yan eh. So partner siya ni Luther. So parang indirectly, I'm also saying na ito mga relationships na to are beautiful and should be honored and should be respected.
Right. We've come to the tail end of our really informative and fun discussion. My last question would have to do with your upcoming projects. Of course, we're very excited kasi alam na namin watching your films now what kinds of projects you can do, you can pursue. But can you tell us ano yung nasa isip nyo ngayon na excited kayong gawin regarding your film work? We'll start with Miss May.
Well, actually, alam mo, ang hirap ng, thank you for that wonderful question, pero hindi ko masagot. Kasi actually, I'm also asking myself, what will be my next project after doing Tao Po?
Yeah.
And kasi ang dami kong mga naiisip, pero parang somehow hindi ko pa mahuli kung ano talaga yun. And I'm just allowing myself to, I'm giving myself time to really think what that next one will be. Kasi I don't know if you know that I help run a community kitchen. We feed the homeless, persons deprived of liberty, mga urban poor, yung mga tinamaan ng mga bagyo. I mean, I help run a community kitchen, and somehow yung problema ng gutom, I'm also very, very interested. And so sabi ko, will my next film be about hunger, or but what will my take be on that?
Right.
Because now I'm, as one who's running it, I'm trying to connect people, yung meron sa wala, yung magsasaka pupunta doon sa like for example Tracy ng Sustainable Towns, mag-iipon ng mga pera ng kaibigan niya para makabili ng gulay ng mga farmers para maluto namin hanggang sa I mean yung pagdadaanan ng pagkain mula sa pagtatanim hanggang sa that interests me too. And then merong no box na idea yung kaibigan ko about anong pagtingin natin sa mga addicts, and what if drugs is not a problem, what is the real problem. I mean but I really can't say for sure what it is, but I am looking forward to what that will be, kasi kahit ako gusto kong malaman. But having said that, ang interesting na ginagawa ko ngayon is I'm doing Tao Po Love for Humanity World Tour. So we're doing the rounds of different countries where people can watch Tao Po, and there will always be a talk back. Kasi sabi ko nga, pag nagtatao po ako, nagsisex ako, pag nagpe-perform ako o nagpapalabas, nag-orgasm ako pag talk back. Kasi sa akin, when I get to hear people's reactions to the film and how I am present in them and them in me, yung parang dun ko talaga nakikita, and when people get excited to get out of empathy and will want to do something to help, that to me is the role of the film. To wake people up, to move them out of apathy, for them to take action. Then I know I have done my part as an artist. Kumbaga na wagwag mo. And I'm really hoping that in this, for between starting tomorrow until May 9, we will be screening Tao Po anywhere in the world. 100 pesos pag binili sa Pilipinas, pero pag ikaw bumili, Patrick, $12.
Oh.
Sana manood ka, but I will send the link to you, Carlo and Patrick, so that you can watch the film for free. But please tell your friends about it, and I hope they can watch the film. And also malaking tulong if you use Sendwave, kasi ngayon they're trying to get me to do Sendwave. It's a remittance company na malaking tulong din, because we give the part of the earnings to the survivors of EJK. So yan lang yung for now, that is what will keep me busy from now until election time, to influence people to choose the right leader come May 9, and hopefully Tao Po will do its part in helping them decide.
Thanks, Miss May. Actually, I for one, I'm excited about what you're doing. Yung kwento mo about the food community kitchen and the drug thing. Siguro kasi ang mga gusto kong documentaries, aside from what I mentioned earlier, yung matagal na proseso, like what Patrick is doing, na it doesn't have to be parang i-shoot mo ngayon tapos ipalabas next week. Yung parang may kwento na mabubuo. So siguro ang wish ko, habang ginagawa mo yan, Miss May, meron ka sigurong, I don't know, some camera person who will go along with you just to record what you're doing, because I really feel like that can be a great material for a documentary. Yeah.
Kaya rin ako nag-upgrade ng phone ko, kasi parang I really want to do a film just with my phone, kasi mahal ang equipment, ganyan. And sabi ko, ang mahalaga naman unang-una kung is what is the content,
Yes.
So hopefully something will come up. But so kung subukan niyang pagkain, magmula dun sa ilalim ng lupa papunta sa loob ng bituka. I mean, maybe I can follow that,
Yeah, that would be really interesting. I want to ask Patrick next. What's up for you in the coming years or months?
Meron akong proyekto may proyekto ako ngayon na looking at Filipino identities in Canada. But
Mhm.
syempre, dahil nga dance ako. So from the point of view of dance. Ngayon, hindi ko pa alam kasi nga nag-pandemic. Ngayon, everything is
Yeah.
being lifted na. So siguro mag-iikot ako ng Canada pag wala ng snow. Pag lamig-lamig kayo. Grabe. Sobra. And titingnan ko kung ano yung mga kwento na lalabas. So magbibisita, pipunta ako ng mga dancers all over. I don't know, may mga limits din syempre kung saan yung may mga places dito sa Canada na ang daming Filipinos like Winnipeg, for example,
Yeah.
Calgary, ganyan, Vancouver. So titingnan ko, mag-pre-production ako.
Yeah.
And then we'll see kung ano yung, sa tingin ko, kung ano yung compelling na stories. Pero gusto ko talagang tingnan kung anong issue. Siguro gusto kong pag-aralan talaga yung ang tawag nila is yung precariative labor, yung mga Filipinos na pumupunta dito na sa temporary workers.
Yeah.
Kasi nga titinan ko din, gusto kong pag-aralan yon. And titinan ko, sana sumasayaw sila. Kasi pag hindi sila sumasayaw, hindi makakasali dun sa project ko. Kailangan mag-hip-hop kayo, o kaya mag-breakdance kayo, mag-pinikling kayo. But alam mo yon, I mean, sa dance yung world ko eh.
Right,
so,
right.
Yun ang web, yun ang So yun ang mga passion ko ngayon is to hopefully to understand Filipino identities in the plural dito sa Canada. And then isang dream project ko is na wala pang nakakagawa is yung nagtutour ng mga I don't know, yung pag sa Manila ako gusto ko ding ang daming materials na sayaw sa atin eh. Like yung magtutour na grupo like yung Bayanihan for example or Filipino mga ganyan and pag-aralan ko yun kasi yun ang naging world ko eh. Kukunin ko si kung ma-afford ko, kukunin ko si Carlo na editor ko. Joke lang, Carlo.
Why not?
Joke lang, Carlo. Hindi ata kita ma-afford.
He has a dance scene, a very memorable dance scene in Maupay, Panahon.
Okay, dance-friendly ka pala. Okay. Kasi kung baka gumawa tayo ng documentary, Carlo, na kuratsa sa Tacloban, di ba?
Samar tsaka Leyte, malakas ang kuratsa.
See, nandun ang urig na kuratsa eh. And then, but seriously though, merong, actually Carlo, not because you're here, but isang project din, and I think nakatuhog ito sa ang role ng sayaw or yung arts, but an output ata ng Yolanda din is nagkaroon ng isang arts organization na para ma-overcome nila ang trauma nila sa...
Actually, I wanted to share because the feature actually started as a documentary.
Oh.
Yeah. Nobody knows about this. So basically, I was developing this project about Yolanda. I got into Chop Shots in Indonesia for the documentary workshop. It's about kids that survived Yolanda and they have to reenact the last 5 minutes before the storm hit them. Tapos, ginagawa talaga siya sa mga schools sa Tacloban during that time.
Yeah.
The final performance is sabay-sabay silang magpe-perform on stage kung anong nangyari. And I felt it was like, during the first parts of like researching, parang, oh, okay, sige, game. Pero when I saw the performance, parang, I felt it was exploitative, so I stopped. Yeah, I just wanted to share.
Yun ang mga projects ko, but we'll see kasi nga ngayon pa lang posibleng magbiyahe, 'di ba?
Yeah.
So I will just let my travel tell me kung ano yung project susunod.
Thanks, Patrick. And then Carlo, what's next for you?
I mean, I just finished my first feature, so medyo overwhelming din for me. But definitely I was trying to talk to myself. Definitely I'll still go back to shorts. But for a feature, sobrang nag-hyper-focus ako ngayon sa chickens.
Sige.
Manok. So, something about manok.
Wow.
Tapos, right now, currently, last year, while the film was going rounds around the festival, I recently finished as an editor an Indonesian film, a Taiwanese film. I'm finishing a Chinese, and then a Malaysian shooting in this March. So yun.
Really nice. Okay. We're all very excited. I'm sure Nico is excited as well about what you will come up next. No, abangan namin yan. Um, Congratulations once again for your nomination for Best First Feature, along with other nominations. And we're very glad that you're able to grace us today with your presence. This was really fun for me. Thank you once again. Mabuhay po ang pelikulang Pilipino.
Mag-picture tayo ha.
Yes, yes. That's what I was about to say. I'm just gonna stop recording.